So I want to welcome every one of you to today's section. We started yesterday with the basic of graphic design, and we were able to actually handle some designs yesterday. I want to believe we all practiced that. But I want to welcome you this morning. So here with me I have Mr. Pamilerin Emmanuel. So he's going to be, telling us, giving us some tips about uh, the role of what's called graphic design with, coupled with photography. How photography actually fits in, how you can actually creatively create something, you know, using, combining the two different creative uh, work. So, without wasting much of our time, I would like to hand over to him now to actually uh, tell us more about himself. So, he will tell us more about himself first. Then from there we get started.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here too, and thank you, I Spark Africa. You are doing wonderfully well. Okay, so my name is Pamela Emmanuel. I'm a photographer. Started about I think 5 years now, but I started my studio officially about 3 years ago. So we opened our studio in Odomosho, a branch of our studio in Odomosho last month. That's in EDP Studio, Emmanuel Pixel Studio. And it's a photography, it's a portrait and wedding photography studio where we take pictures with, taking pictures with eye creativity is our priority. We would love to imprint something in your heart with every of our pictures. So basically to us it's more than a picture. So I think I did
Yes,
justice to that.
actually, personally, I've been inspired by so many pictures. I do browse his IG account, and I'm actually inspired by so many pictures I see on the platform, on the IG account. So, um, I've seen I think I've seen quite a number of pictures like that. Apart from the fact that they inspired, I actually noticed the touch of creativity in those pictures. So, and looking at his own profession, his own aspects, I believe so well that we can actually couple the two together, have the two together to actually bring out. Yesterday we said graphic design is actually about you conveying your imaginative, this thing, creative mind to people, like you, what's called communicating with people, with your audience through visual aids, through visual means. So now, photography is also a means of actually you communicating a message, passing a message across to your audience. So I would like him to tell us more about how well he has actually used this idea to create so much creative work out there.
Okay. First and foremost, I'm glad to be here again. So, for me, images is not just photography. To me, is not just about taking pictures. For me, it's actually a tool. It's actually a means of communicating something. So, I would love to say images are very effective communication tool. If you want to pass a message across to people, one of the things you can actually do is that you can use pictures to pass a message across to people. I'm sure you must have had this quote before that a picture is worth much more than 1,000 words. So one of the ways to pass your message across, whatever you are doing, even if it's a graphics design, if it's animation, whatever you are doing, picture is one of the potent way of passing a message across to people. You can look at the picture and then it can, with the way human beings are actually configured, their configuration, you can actually look at the picture and then it will be struck in your mind for a long period of time. So more than any element I know, picture is a way of actually passing a message across. Now, I don't know if you have heard of Kevin Carter. If you know Kevin Carter, you must have heard of, probably most people, you must have seen the picture again of this. A photographer took a picture in Sudan where a young girl was seen. It's not even a girl. At the beginning, people thought the starving child is actually a girl, but eventually people later discovered that the person we thought is a girl is actually a guy, a young child. That picture, that Kevin Carter took that picture and it won the Pulitzer Award. But after 4 months, the guy committed suicide. Why? Because of the picture he took. Now, that picture so much had ripple effect in the country, not just in that country, all over the world. I think that should be about 1993. It so much had a ripple effect that it spurred people into action. People were responding. Okay, what happened to the girl? Is the guy just about? Is he interested in just taking the picture, or is actually interested in helping the little child, because the child was trying to get to the World Health something where they were giving out food. This was a time where there was famine in Sudan. So what am I trying to say? Picture is so powerful. Countries have actually gone into wars. You might want to study that. Study the 100 influential pictures in the world, photographs in the world. Countries have actually gone into wars because of picture. Now, so I may not really be a full-time graphics designer, but because of my experience in the creative industry for a while now, we can actually combine the both of them together. We can combine photography. You can't really have a good quality design without a good picture, because now the first thing I'm going to say is because of the advance in technology, social media, there are many innovations these days. Now, social media is growing day by day. People are pushing out content. Before there was nothing like WhatsApp status. Possibly we remember that time where most of us were just using 10 megabytes.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can't even check a lot of content back then. But now data is something everybody has access to right now. So when you go on social media, there are a lot of content that are trying to get your attention. There are a lot of things trying to, this one you can actually check about 4 people's status, 5, more than that, in just 1 minute. So a couple of things are actually there struggling to get our attention. It's like a world, it's like a community. If you're not on Instagram, you're on Facebook. You're not on Facebook, you're on WhatsApp. It's just like a circle. You are moving from that place. So a lot of things are trying to get our attention. Now, but as a graphics designer, one of the things you can actually do in that struggle, when many things is trying to get people's attention, in that struggle, you want to pass a message across. You want people to see something. Maybe you are designing for a company, maybe you are designing for an event. You just want to push out something and you want to get their attention. Photography is one of the ways. Using a picture that can get people's attention is one of the major ways to do that. Now, because the moment people are just scrolling through their news feed, they are just scrolling, and they are like, they can just see a picture and they'll be like, what's this? Now, so it's not just a design. So in the midst of, I need you to understand that the attention span of people is now low compared to before. Now, and it's because you can just scroll. Before we were using, maybe, is it 2G or
2G,
and then we moved to 3G, but now 4G is now faster. So the attention span of people, if you even check YouTube, realize that they tell you, if you can't pass your message across in 4 to 5 seconds, then it's gone. Whatever you want to do, if you can't pass it in 4 to 5 seconds, then it's gone, because they tell you can skip the video in just 4 to 5 seconds. So they are actually telling you that every message you want to pass across to them, you should be able to pass it in just 4 to 5 seconds. And one of the major ways to do that is using picture. Because one of the major ways to do that is using pictures. Now I don't, because again you need to understand that people are getting lazy day by day, day by day. I don't want to read plenty content. The moment I check people's design and I notice that they have a lot of content, the address, everything is just there, I get tired. I really don't have, and I've noticed that about people too. So please, I'm not really a lazy person like that, but I really don't have all the time in the world to actually sit down and be checking your design. I don't have all the time. So once I see your design, I should be able to look at it and say, oh, this is the message this person is trying to pass across. Now this brings me to the place where I will talk about less is more. Now that's how it's, you know, a lot of people think when you do big design, like you do a lot of things, you have a lot of things, bombard it with color, bombard it with big fonts, look for one Asian font somewhere, and then stylish fonts, especially, now let me talk about this, especially people who really design logos. Oh, maybe a fashion designer wants to design a logo. Okay, help me to put scissors there, help me to put, no, those things are not there. Less is more. Exactly. So I want to be able to look at a design and see that this is what this person is talking about. Less than 5 seconds.
Exactly. Without even having much elements.
Yes.
So taking that logo for instance now, taking that logo as an example, it's not a must you actually have your sewing machine within your logo.
I'm telling you.
It's not the must you have your what's called, I think, braided hair or what's all this kind of icon.
Wig, yeah.
Exactly. So there's a way you can actually convey your message. There's a way you can actually present your logo that people will know exactly what you are doing, what service you are trying to render to people. So I think I love that point where you said less is more.
Yes.
Less is more. I think I love simplicity too. And when a design is very simple, when it's just minimal, I think you know what they call minimal designs.
Yes.
So when designs are minimal, they look more beautiful and more. They pronounce more this thing, like they actually tell more story. I don't know if you've seen that. It's not the most you have the whole illustrations on your design. You can just have a minimal design, very neat, using the white space, what's called the negative space, this thing. Then you have your message just within that limited element. So I love that point. Thank you so much for that point, sir.
Okay, so let me just move it forward. I know we most times graphics designer, creative always have this issue with clients. They want something ambiguous, they want something big, they want something complicated. They feel like you have not really done much if the things you are doing is not really it's not big, it's not wide. I don't know. They feel you have not done much. But when you begin to compete at an international standard, when you begin to, and I feel it's because of the environment we have found ourselves. When you begin to compare your work, when you begin to place your work side by side with international standard, and you begin to compete at international level, trust me, you will know that some things are not necessary. You know some things are not necessary.
Exactly.
So just understand that less is more, and one of the way to, if you are now going to do less, now if you are doing less, just know that it's more, because for you to be able to come to that point where you are able to pin your work down is simplicity. For you to come to that point where your work is very, very simple, it takes a lot of critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is something different.
Exactly.
So we won't talk about that today. But just know that for you to be able to do that less, you must have thought about it. You must have your thought process, your thought pattern. You must have actually sat down to really check everything. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to say is, okay, I think I didn't complete my thoughts. So if you are going to do less is more, then it's important that you get pictures. Now, if you are now getting pictures, one of the things I have noticed again on how photography and graphics design relates is, there was a time we were checking through a lot of websites, we were checking through a lot of sites, and then we realized that we really don't have pictures, we really don't have content that people can use that is original. Now most people just go to stock use stock pictures and get pictures, and it does not tell our story well. It does not represent us. The narrative. Well, imagine me using one white person for a black website. Now, I don't want to say black like that, like so that you won't think I'm being a racist or something.
Okay,
this is not
something native, something
for a native, something Africa, our own.
Exactly.
Like I think that just means that we don't believe in ourselves or something. I don't know. So now one of the ways photography and graphics design relate is for you to really build trust. Now this is not just design, even for websites too. You are UX designer and all those stuff. For you to build trust, for people to really trust you as a brand, you must actually look for a way to get original pictures. Original. I understand that most time people are trying to cut costs, people are trying to work with budget, because some people might not be able to afford the service of a photographer or something like that. Now I know there are plenty photographers out there, but now you should go for quality. I love quality all the time, because it's something. It's just my own internal configuration. I don't want to go for what is less. I want to go for quality. If this is quality, then we should go for it. So when you begin to employ the service of a good photographer, now you should get original content. Now you might want to do that for a while, where you are getting stock pictures. But you should get to a level where it goes beyond that, where you get original pictures. Now, and I've noticed that about most of these top brands. Now you can't see Coca-Cola or maybe Heineken or maybe Gouda. Exactly. You can't see them and using common pictures, stock pictures. You can't see them. Now, so one of the ways your design, there can be an originality. You can gain people's trust. You can connect with people easily, is by telling a photographer, or maybe just reaching out to different team, have a team, and you guys come together to create content, original content of the message you want to pass across.
Exactly.
So maybe, okay, let me just use this. Maybe you want to design something for a church. Now people will trust you. People will connect easily. People will connect more. Maybe if they see the picture of your church members. It will be easy for people to connect. Oh, okay, I think I know this person. Now, even if they don't know the person, they will just know that this is your church.
Exactly.
They will know that this is your church. So basically, those are the two things I actually love to just emphasize on. The things I want you to take away from this webinar, that the attention span of people is low, and one of the fastest way to get their attention is using pictures. Pictures are very powerful. So instead of you writing out all the things you want to write on your design, one picture can pass that message across, and you can just have short information that won't be complicated, and people will be able to access it easily and get the message straight up. And because of that, you will be able to do less, and I told you that less is more.
Wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I think somebody have a question.
Okay. Okay. The question is not asked.
What professional photography influence your work, and how do you incorporate their techniques into photographs and design generally?
What professional photographers have influenced your work? Okay, maybe once. And how do you incorporate their techniques into your photographs and design generally? Do you understand that question?
Yeah. If I get the person right, maybe the person is just trying to know who has greatly influenced my work, my design, well, I'm not really a designer like that. Though I have designers working for me. I'm not really a designer. But I can mention a lot of photographers. Now, I know one who is really into design, and I love her work so much. She's a photographer.
Wow.
And I love her design too. As a matter of fact, most of the design we do, most of them we use some of our templates for our design, and I tell you, most of our designs are very simple. Gasmando Studio. She's a portrait photographer. Though she's into weddings too, but she's majorly a portrait photographer, and she loves taking headshots. You might want to check her out on Instagram. She's very very good. But personally, the person who has greatly influenced me is Tiwa Bello. Now, Tiwa Bello is not really into graphics design. She does not do more of graphics. Yeah. She just posts her work. But Tiwa Bello has greatly influenced my photography. And who else has influenced Tiwa Bello? I love Gasmandu. I love Eninogudi. Eninogudi, she's a female. The three of them are female. Interesting.
Wow.
The three of them are female. Gasmandu, Eninogudi studied photography in Paris, and I've met with her, and I can say that she has really really influenced my work. Really.
Wow.
So the three of them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this section. I think I have one or two questions to ask.
Okay.
Okay. There's this I actually learned a lot from that point you made, that little is more, less is more. So okay, I have this. What do you think about the issue of you having a client, and okay, maybe your client suggested maybe three different kind of, or maybe four or more colors that you should work with, and having what's called another a graphic, a kind of an image to work with that is not even aligning with what the person wants.
Okay.
No, what the person needs rather.
Okay.
Because the person gave you some colors to work with, and so how do you work around those things to actually bring out something beautiful without without offending that individual?
So like the client, if I get you right, the client actually gave you about four colors to work with. Well, I think basically it's just most people need to be enlightened about design. Most people need to be enlightened about how everything is. Okay, there's this business class I actually did for some people on WhatsApp. We have been working on our brands, and we have been, it's more like a community for some of my friends where we have been talking. And then one of the things I told them is your logo does not necessarily need to show what you are doing, because it's an identity.
Yes.
So some people will say, I want camera, because I'm a photographer, I want camera to be in my name, blah, blah, so that people can know. And I showed them a logo, one of the finest logo that I really, really love. I think it's Shade Deji and Color. I don't know if you know Deji and Color. I will have shown you, but you might check them out on Instagram. Deji and Color, the logo is a bicycle, a pan wine tapper.
Wow.
A very beautiful design. Now, and the person introduced that logo, so I screenshot it and I sent it to the group, and I told them, if any of you get what these people are into, I said I was going to give them 5,000 naira or so, because I knew they were not going to get it. So all of them started thinking, what's this person into? Palm wine tapper on a bicycle, all of these ODs. So they kept thinking about it. So when eventually I told them, the company is actually into fashion designing.
Wow.
So how does palm wine tapping relate with fashion design? It's just an identity. It's just an identity. It does not necessarily need to show that maybe they have suits. Really, they are actually into suit. They make suits specifically. Not. It's just like what's the name of this man? I've forgotten his name. This other man who is in Maya Tafo. It's just more like that company too. They make suits specifically. So now I just think we just need to come to that place where we enlighten our clients, number one. And number two, you need to understand that not every client is your client. If eventually they are not going to understand, you need to protect your own brand too. You need to protect the integrity. You need to protect your own credibility. You need to explain to them, okay, this is what we do. We don't do this. We don't jump all up. We don't do all of those things. So once you explain to them, and if they insist that this is what we want you to use, well, it's up to you to decide. Now, this is why you need to ask, why am I into what I'm doing in the first place? Is it just about making money? Now, if it's about making money, well, I can just say you can go ahead and do it.
Take anything.
But if it's not just about making money, if it's much more than that, then you have to protect your integrity. You have to protect what the brand has been known for.
Exactly.
You have to protect. Okay, we don't. You know, when you look at Tiwabilu's work, when I look at other people's work, I just look at their work. They don't need to put their logo. I just know this is this person. This is this person.
Exactly.
So there is a way I can look at people's design. I can tell you some of my friends. They don't need to even put their name there that I did this design. I can just look at this person. I know this. Who is that person that edits like this? Who is that person that designs like this? Okay, this person. This person. Okay, this Rice Media. This Thing Green is the one that makes design like this. So it's quite easy for me to recognize. So one of the ways you need to protect that, one of the ways people get to know you is they know you by the things you do. So you need to consciously protect your work. You need to consciously protect the things that comes out of your company. So basically, there are a lot of things to say in that area, but I just feel it's just exposure.
Exactly.
The client you are serving at that particular time is exposure. Does not really understand how it works, and it is even our responsibility to actually explain to them. They don't know. Most times, clients don't know what they want. They just saw one design somewhere and they just love it. They just love it. So it's our responsibility to help them. So we are not just doing design. Now, you see, most times this is where the mistake comes from. I think I should just say this. There are a lot of things to say about this area, but let me just say this. Most times when people start a business or start something, they just go into, I want to do design. Now, it's wrong. It's wrong. One of the first things you should do is, why am I into this? Where am I going? Where am I now?
Exactly.
You should get clarity of the type of business you want to build. It's just like human being saying, what's my purpose? Where am I going in life? The same way you should do that for your business. So that's when you would know the necessary elements. Your graphics designer, we have less work to do if you have been able to get clarity.
Exactly.
Because
when your brand is well defined.
Yes, because every color means something. Everything, every element in the design is telling a story. Everything is telling a story.
Sorry, sir. There's even this thing I noticed about types too. I mean typographies.
Okay.
The kind of type you use actually talks more about. It tells more about your brand.
I'm telling you.
Because you can use what's called this serif and sans serif.
Okay.
You know that there are two different types entirely, and the way you use them and the kind of brands where those where you use those fonts actually differ. Okay, for instance, now I've noticed something that most tech companies use the serif. They don't use sans serif that much. I think the fashion industry they use this serif more. I mean sans serif more. Where I don't know, what happened is I'm going to show us what's got the difference between the serif and the sans serif. I'm going to show us that the difference between the two. So we have to understand all of these things. It's that you are that you are designing a graphic doesn't mean you should just pick any font and just use it in your design. Okay, let's talk about the calligraphic text. You cannot just introduce them anyhow in your designs. So all of these things have their own messages. They're actually passing across to your audience.
Now you see, fonts to have a way people perceive your company. They are actually playful fonts.
Exactly.
They are fonts that once I look at the font, I'm getting a message immediately. This person must be more of a comedian. They are fonts that when I see them, I was like, oh, these are comic fonts. So and they are fonts that when I see them immediately, I would know that this must be a corporate organization. So there is a way you use certain fonts, and it be great. You might not know. You might not know. As you are the receiving hand. Everything you see, it is just like movie. Every scene in a movie was designed to actually play with your emotion. Everything, you see, these things are emotional. It might look so simple, but they are emotional. They have been wired to do something to you. So there are fonts that when I see them, I just know that, oh, I just feel like I'm in a place where we can joke, more like a comedy area once you see them. But there are fonts that when you see them, when you see the flyer, you just know that, oh, they create a perception, a feeling that this is a corporate organization.
Yes.
And there are fonts that when you see them, you just feel, I can tell you this, that font shapes your perception. There are fonts that when you see them, when you are reading, I don't know if you have been in that situation. There are books that I picked up and I want to read them. I'm like, I don't think I can read this book. I just get tired of the book because the font is not really
appealing.
It's not appealing, to be honest. Now, if you want to get what I'm saying very well, go and check complaints. Go and check people with blogs that write. Go and just test it out. Go and look at the fonts they use. You can't use the same font you want to use for poem and use that same font for maybe you are writing somebody's autobiography
or a tech article.
Okay, or a tech article. It doesn't work. You want to write a poem and you are not using the same font for poem for a tech. No, it's not going to work, because you need the font you are going to use for poem need to pass a feeling of what you are writing. So those things greatly shapes people's perception. So once you begin to explain all of these things to your client that wants to make a design, if they don't understand the kind of company they are building, am I building a corporate organization? Am I building a place where people can feel at home? Am I building a company where it's going to be a funny environment? It's just going to be lively. The color you are using, you basically know that females like pink, right? There are other colors that once you can't build a children environment and you now paint it in white. A child needs to be in a colorful environment because it affects their perception. Now imagine I want to build a corporate organization, a corporate where is for official meeting, and I'll go and paint it with multiple colors. It's wrong. That same way is the way you should approach your design. So if clients don't have that clarity, if they don't understand that, they just feel, oh, I just love this. They are just talking based on what they like. Is what they want, but their company don't need it. So it's your responsibility as a designer to tell them, excuse me, sir. So I actually get to interpret your company well. This is your personal preference, but you need to move away from your personal preference to what will benefit the company.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that section. I really appreciate that. You've actually touched a lot. You've talked about so many things, and without wasting much of our time, I know you have questions. You have questions to ask. Well, what I have us to do now is to actually go on Facebook. Go to Facebook. I want you to enter the event page on Facebook and just ask your question on the event page, and your question will be answered ASAP, as soon as possible. So I don't know if you have any other thing you would like to. Wow. So we want to appreciate you. Thank you for honoring our invitation to for this program. Thank you so much. Really appreciate.
I'm so glad. I'm so honored.
Much,
it's a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to share knowledge with everybody.
Thank you so much, sir.
So much.
And I believe you've learned one thing or the other from the section. So I want to leave you with this. Just go on Facebook and that striking point, that particular point that that actually touches you most. I want you to go on Facebook. Just write something about it. Let us know your best moments in this section. So we'll go on break now. So we'll be back in the next 3 minutes. So I want you to actually share this event, tell people around, share it on Facebook, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. So we'll go on break now. So catch up with you later. So our practical section will be on after the break. Thank you so much.